Hello again, my name is Vicky, I'm a Christian and it's been a while since I made a video. This is video number 4. So I've made a cup of tea and I thought I'd sit down with you and just speak what's on my mind today. I was messaging a friend, I think it was just last night, and they were feeling just overwhelmed by everything, and I recognised that feeling. When you feel that the demands of work and family, friends, asking favours, and just everything, the list of things that you have to do in life just become longer and longer and longer. There's just so many things that you have to do for everybody else. And when you do go to sleep, if you do get to sleep, that's if, you have such a restless night because everything is churning over in your head. You can't sleep properly and you wake up just feeling even more exhausted than when you went to bed. So you're not getting enough sleep. You want to do everything, you want to do it all, but you do all these things imperfectly because you're just so overwhelmed. It just made me think that we're just trying to be superwoman, but we've only got human abilities. We're just trying to be perfect and run everything and do everything right, and we just end up running around in circles. And we don't want to let anybody down. We don't want to just, we want to please everybody. That feeling, as a grandma. This is a video for grandmas who we've seen all this before in our lives. We weren't born yesterday. We've been through all of this many times over. And you haven't got enough time to do everything. I'm a working grandma, but I still try and keep to some kind of routine, but still get overwhelmed. Seasonally things are just too much, and we just don't have time to do it all. So I thought this is my message today. So the message is stop and try not to do the impossible. You just won't be able to do everything. You want to be everything to everybody, but in the end you end up being nothing to anybody because you just can't cope with it all. Anyway, there's a story in the Bible. It's the story of Martha and Mary, and it's found in Luke 10, verses 38 to 42. And it's a story where Jesus went to visit his friends, who were Martha, Mary and Lazarus. And he went into their home and took a bunch of disciples with him. And he was just chatting there with his friends, and and then Martha, one of the sisters, decided to feed them all. And it's probably lunchtime, and when you have people in your home, you want to make them feel welcome, you want to be hospitable. So I'll just read you this passage. He entered a village, and a woman named Martha welcomed him into her house. She had a sister called Mary, who also sat at Jesus' feet and listened to his teaching. But Martha was distracted with much serving, and she came to him and said, "Lord, do you not care that my sister left me alone to serve alone? Then tell her to get up and help me." Jesus answered and said to her, "Martha, Martha, you are anxious and troubled about many things." Don't we know that? We're anxious and troubled about many things. But Jesus said, "But one thing is needed, and Mary has chosen the good part, which shall not be taken from her." So Jesus didn't want Martha to disturb Mary from listening to him. And that's kind of what I wanted to kind of give you a message today. Spending time listening to Jesus or listening to God, just no time with God is wasted. Whether you are praying, which is just a conversation with God, whether you are just sitting and appreciating God's creation, which is all around you. I'm looking out now. I know the sun is dazzling here. Today, it's been a very wet week. We've had snow this week, but the sun is just dazzling in through this window now, and I can barely look out, but I can see that God's creation is out there. We've got some glorious sunshine. The birds are singing. They're just pecking away. The snow is kind of melted and it's a bit muddy and awful on the ground, but the birds are still there. They're happy, they're cheerful, they're doing what they have to do. But just spend time just sitting and appreciating God's creation is just so valuable. Just appreciating for his blessings, or which is, you know, what he provides for you every day is just amazing. So no time spent in the company of God is wasted. So, you know, if you're feeling overwhelmed, take 5 minutes, make a cup of tea, sit down, look out of the window, talk to God in a conversation, just tell him what you're feeling, you know, and just sit and appreciate. And then the one thing I did say to my friend who was going through all of this is that somebody told me, and it stuck with me as being quite useful advice. Make a list of all the things you need to do. Take 2 minutes, write them all down, but only do the 3 most important things. So just look at the list, choose what is the most important 3 things to do, the most pressing things to do, and just do today those 3 things. Don't do tomorrow's 3 things, just do today's 3 things. And then at the end of the day, make a list, cross off the things that you've done, and add the other things that you need to do. So you'll always have a list of 10 things. And when you wake up in the morning, hopefully you will have had a better night's sleep because you achieved 3 of the most important things. And when you wake up and look at that list in the morning, look at the list and select tomorrow's, or what it will be today's 3 most important things, and do those 3, just those 3. If you get another one done, great, but just do the 3 most important things that you had on your list for the following day. And by the end of the week, if you do that day in, day out for a week, just see if you can't get that list done. And quite often you'll find that that list, some of the least important things will have just dropped off the end of the list because they didn't really need doing anyway. They weren't important enough, or they kind of, you find that they did themselves, you know. So just do the 3 most important things, and it might, they're just the most important things to you. They're not the most important things to everybody else. They're the most important things to you. Just do 3 of them. You can't be Superwoman. You can't be everything to everybody. You know, if people are placing these demands on you, that's unfair, you know. Things that are urgent, you may need to put at the top of that list to do. If you've got deadlines and things like that, maybe schedule them into your week as deadlines, but just do the 3 things, because the weight will be lifted from your shoulders because you first spent time sitting for a few minutes appreciating God, appreciating what he has provided for you. Just spend time with God, as I said, is never wasted. Spend time doing those 3 most important things, and you'll realize that eventually you'll get all of the most important things done, and the least important things were so unimportant that they didn't need doing. Because Jesus, even at the end of his life, he had a life of around 33 years, and he only had 3 years of ministry at the end of that life. And it said in the Bible that he healed all those who came to him. Now, he didn't heal everybody that was in the area. He didn't heal the whole world because there were still people suffering. He just healed those people that came to him, that wanted healing, or that came to him for something. And he healed all of those. And at the end of his life, on the cross, when he was dying on that cross, he said, "It is finished." So he had done everything that his Father, God, had asked him to do. He said, "It is finished." He'd completed his work. Yet there were still people that were sick on the earth. He hadn't healed them, but he'd healed all the ones that God had told him to do. So that's my advice for you. Spend time with God, listening, appreciating him, and then crossing off the 3 most important things in today's list of things to do. And I hope that at the end of that, you'll feel less stressed, You'll feel calmer. You'll feel you've achieved a list of things, and you'll hopefully sleep better at the end of it. So my advice to all grandmas out there, you're not Superwoman. You've achieved everything in your life that you wanted to achieve so far, and if you wanted to put those on the list of things as goals for the future, long-term goals, you still have a work to do on this planet to please God first, people second. So yeah, that's my advice for you today. Take 5 minutes for God before you do anything, and then write those top list of 3 and get those done. So I hope that helps you today, and I'll see you next time. Don't forget to finish that tea though, because that's 5 minutes that isn't wasted either. God bless you.